Hello, Dental A Team listeners. We are so happy to be back here with you. We are recording today from the comfort of our own homes with the ACs blasting. I am about to bust out my fan. It is on the charger right now. I don't know if you know this or not, but Kristy and I come to you from the sweltering desert of Phoenix, Arizona. And I have to say, I'm crazy. My boyfriend is like, it is hot. We're getting out of here. We're moving to Prescott. And one day I'm sure we will. But I love where I live. And every time I go travel to an office and I'm gone for like a week, I'll see 2-3 offices at a time. I come back in and just coming into Tempe on that plane over the mountains, you can see the buttes, you can see South Mountain, you can see the city, and just like the buzz of it all makes me so incredibly happy every single time. I love where I live. I cannot at this point in my life imagine living anywhere else. And when I say that out loud, people think I'm crazy. And I'm like, listen, it's beautiful here. My best friend, bless her heart, she's like, Tiff, it's brown. It's all desert. And I'm like, it's not. Do you see these colors like the saguaros and the pink flowers that bloom and the yellows? And like, I don't know, Kristy, am I crazy or what are your thoughts? You came back to Arizona. So obviously there's something to be told about that.
It's too funny that you say that because it's so true. When I moved to Idaho, everybody's like, Arizona, it's a desert. And I'm like, but there's desert here.
Yeah.
And I have to agree, the Arizona desert is much prettier. Southwestern Idaho is very deserty, and we're talking brown. There's
Yeah.
where the brown is. But Arizona desert is very beautiful. And even this time of year, like, come on, Palo Verdes aren't brown, they're green. So,
Right? They literally in their name,
yeah.
right? Palo Verde. My boyfriend always says, yeah, Arizona, like so inventive, the green stick. And I'm like, well, it's green. It is green,
It's
okay? It's
green.
our state tree and it's green. Yeah, I agree. I just think it's beautiful. And there's nothing like a desert rain. I know that sounds so cliche. Everyone says it, everyone hears it, but I swear to you, the smell in the desert after a good rain or even a light sprinkling is magical. There is something about it that just changes the composition of your body and you become a much happier individual. You can't be angry in the desert rain. So
I 100% agree with you, Tiff. And if you and I can figure out a way to bottle that stuff, I've always said we'd be millionaires.
yeah, well, my friend just told me this a couple months ago. There's actually a bush out there. I need to just take a picture of it and figure out what it is. We were hiking one day. There's a bush out there that when you pick the leaf and you like put it between your fingers, it smells like the desert rain. I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it and take a picture. I don't know what the bush is, but I'll find it and take a picture and Google it so that we could bottle it. My
Yeah.
point there. Yeah, I actually had a friend in town. He lives in North Carolina and he was visiting and he was like, I'm taking some of this home so that other people can smell it because it is incredible. And I'm like, yep, that's what Arizona desert rain smells like. So
That's
anyways, everybody who wants to come visit, we are here for it. We aren't taking any new visitors like to stay. I'm just kidding. You can move here. It's just getting crowded, But visitors are welcome. Come share in the heat. I know most people come in the month of February for the Waste Management Open, and you just let us know when we're here, and Kristy and I will pop over and say a little hello to you. So, Kristy, getting on to business. I love talking about Arizona, and I would do it forever. But we're kind of rounding out the year right now. We're heading into quarter 4. This is the time of year I'm like, well, we can still make massive movements. We can still make massive changes and hit those goals. But really, we need to start thinking about what are we doing after these goals are hit. So a lot of people don't think about the next year, which is 2026, until December. But I'd like to start talking about it here in August. So one of those pieces, Kristy, I really wanted to chat today about offices that we've seen implement new treatment. And I know right now, fillers, Botox, I've seen a ton of practices doing like facial aesthetics and the lasers, and I don't even know what they're called, the wands, and like all of these amazing things. And it takes me back to when I was working in office. Gosh, when I first started, I was like 19. And my doctor's like, where are those paraffin wax things? Can we get those? And I was like, you're crazy. We are not a spa. Like, we're not doing paraffin wax for our patients. I have enough to do chair side. I have enough to clean up. We're not doing this, right? But he really wanted it. And so we did warm towels. So I was like, I can handle warm towels. It's all you got. But now there is really like this spa aesthetic feel to a lot of dental practices. And I know there's plenty of us out there that are like, no, not doing that. I am a dig my heels in kind of girl. So I dig my heels in until the very end. But I'm kind of getting on board with it. I kind of like it. And it's adding a different sense and a different value. And honestly, I love marketing, and it's adding a different marketing avenue because it's a different demographic of people who can come for the aesthetic side and see, oh, I love these people. Let me switch my dental as well. They may not. That's okay. They may love their dentist. But if you can come to one place and get multiple things, that's kind of cool. So Kristy, I just wanted to chat a little bit about some of the things that we've seen. We've worked, you guys, just so you know, we worked with a ton of practices on adding aesthetics, Botox, fillers, implants, just like simple single tooth implants, multi-tooth implants, all on fours. What else? Orthodontics, making sure that the marketing is there, making sure that the treatment coordinating aspect is there, making sure that case acceptance is working, the schedule is working, the block scheduling. Like, we have helped implement this in so many practices. So as we're talking today, just know we're speaking from that implementation experience and what we've seen really work for practices from our experience working one-on-one with doctors. If you're someone who's looking to implement new products or new services in your practice and you're not really sure on the how to, please reach out. We would love to help you on a one-on-one basis. hello@thedentalteam.com. Again, we have a ton of experience in this. We have 5 experienced consultants ready to work one-on-one with you. Kristy, Monica, and Trish are freaking incredible, you guys. I have just seen them move mountains for clients in a very short amount of time. So if you are ready to take that step, let us know. hello@thedentalteam.com. But Kristy, I know you've had a lot of clients. You've had some fun clients that I can think of off the top of my head that are kind of fresh and new and starting out. And I know one in particular I can think probably is this like go-getter, wants to add everything, wants to take all the CE, wants to implement everything, and wants to just run with it. And then you've got some others that are like, oh, I'm going to like take my time. I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to take the CE. Maybe in a couple of years we'll be able to implement it. Like, there's like such drastic differences there. But what kind of procedures have you seen implemented recently? And what do you feel like your clients are doing really well to implement them within their practice with your support?
Yeah, well, like you, the med spa thing has really taken off in dentistry. So adding in the Botox, the laser, and sleep, even for little kiddos, the tongue ties has been an area of exploration. But with that being said, Tiff, I think first and foremost, yes, you're right. I have one client that's kind of a go-getter, and honestly, him bringing the energy has worked really well for him because his excitement is driving it, right? But one thing that I would say in the very beginning, if you're exploring this and you aren't that go-getter, energetic, I'm gonna do this attitude, and you're kind of thinking about it, start to take a pulse with your patients. Explore. Hey, if we offered this service, is this something you'd be interested in? See if people are interested in it, because you may be leaving room on the table, right? And
Yeah.
maybe you'll find out they're not interested and it will drive you in a different direction. But with that being said, like I said, take a pulse of your own patients. But I also, doctors, recommend that you get your admin team uh, keeping a list of things that patients are calling in and asking for, and they have to say, no, we don't do that. Because that's an area of opportunity that perhaps if you have 100 people calling and asking, you could have a service that would be reimbursing, right?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I have never in my life thought of that. That's beautiful. I love that you said to ask the patients themselves as well. If I started offering this, is this something you'd be interested in? And that one's kind of an easy one when it comes to like Botox and things like that, because you can tell when someone has utilized that procedure before. So I've even had doctors say, where are you going for your Botox? Like, do you like where you go? Are you happy there? What are they doing well that keeps you coming back? And even as far as to ask what they're paying, because it really helps them to figure out how they can generate that within their own practice based on a scale of like, chatting with a couple of different patients, because you really can tell fillers as well, and all of that stuff you guys has to be redone at some point. So I think that's a great idea. Sleep apnea is huge. I think the kiddo stuff is massive. I have a couple of doctors, couple pediatric doctors, but then also I have a GP doctor that does a ton within the lip tie, the sleep apnea, all of those pieces for the toddlers and children. And she's so passionate about it that her team is behind her as well on it. So I think that's a really good point. And I think, Kristy, something you touched on was that passion and how excited that specific doctor we're thinking of is about everything he does. Everything he does, he's excited for. And so I just feel like walking into his practice, you're just amped up. Like the energy's got to be so high. But for everyone, no matter what, anytime you go take a CE, anytime you have an idea, anytime you're like, I want to implement this, and you go get trained on it, I think the biggest missing piece that I've always seen myself as a consultant, and then myself even as a dental assistant or front office, is that information lapse between you taking the course and coming back with the information. And that I get from a business standpoint and a doctor's standpoint, it's hard to take your team to the CE with you. And sometimes it's not even offered to bring your team. So I get that, but that's where training comes into play. And I think that's where having someone on your side, a coach and a consultant, someone who's working hand in hand with the team who really can help create protocols, who can help with the verbiage, because you're over there implementing. And I don't know, Kristy, if you've ever experienced this. I remember my doctor, he would get so deflated because he'd go do this thing. He'd be ramped up sleep. He wanted to do sleep so badly. And I hope to this day that he's doing it. But it was so difficult. And we didn't get the training. We didn't get the courses. He was training us, which was great. But it was like, also, we are doing everything we were doing before you took this course. So the space for me to learn how to add this, for me to take the time out of my day to implement this just isn't always there. And so the space to do the training is sometimes lacking if you can't take your team with you. So I know I've got a practice that I've helped a ton with sleep just in general at their practice because they needed the protocols put in place, but they didn't have the time to even sit down and type them. So it was like, no, we're going to do this together real quick. Or Tiff's got these ideas. We've got templates that we utilize with our clients that we're like, hey, these are my ideas. And we go back and forth and we figure out what's working, what's not working. And Kristy, I know you've done that too. What have you seen work really well with practices for that training and implementation?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because as you're talking, I'm thinking of a client right now that literally just went, she did take her team to Vegas for clear
That's
aligner course. And thank goodness they were blessed to go, right? Because you're right. Getting the whole team behind them and the energy coming back in is huge. The
yeah,
energy really does propel the momentum as you're trying to ramp up. And to your point, not everybody can take the whole team. So
yeah,
I get that. Yet if you can get one or two champions to go and help you, wonderful. If not, I would definitely recommend coming back and having the conversation and have doctors speak to their why.
yeah,
Why do they want to implement this? What is their vision for it? And then create how benchmarks, like
yeah,
how will we implement this and what can we do? So if we want to do more clear aligners, what is something we can do every day to help that outcome? Right?
yeah.
Is it add one more scan to a patient? Get those commitments from team and buy in and then have fun with it. We're always
Mhm.
talking about the sprinkles and adding the fun. So find a way to gamify it, and if I do this action every day, it's going to create a better chance of my outcome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and to that point, you're then tracking your results, right? Which is something that we have all of our practices tracking their results consistently for that reason, because we want to see the things that you're doing every day. Are they creating the result that you wanted? Are we moving closer to the goal that you were set after, or are we moving further away from it? Because then we can see what we want to tweak or change or what needs to be added. And then again, to your point as well, what's one thing that we can add? A lot of times we come in with all of the things and it's like that's too much and we can't process it all. So if you do that, like one thing, so for sleep apnea or Botox or any of those spaces, ortho, it's like what's one thing you would change aesthetically if you had the opportunity? Like what's one question you can start asking every patient that walks through your door? Do you find yourself waking up a lot at night? Do you find yourself, does your partner say that you're snoring? Do you have a hard time falling asleep? Do you have a hard time waking up, right? Like, what are the key factors? What's one question, two questions you add onto it? How can we layer this and stack to get things done? And like you said, maybe we're taking one more scan today than we took yesterday. We're gamifying it, we're tracking the results, and we're making sure that it's fitting. And that's something that I think as consultants, we've been able to really help teams get excited about and really be able to help them break it down. Because for doctors, for our visionaries, it's sometimes difficult for a visionary to see the path. They see the end result. They see what it is that they're after. They see the dream and the finality. We have to take it layers backwards and say, well, how do we get there? The visionaries have a hard time figuring out how we're going to get there. And when they're the only ones who are trying to figure that out, or there's no one on the team that's like, okay, I got it, I will figure it out from here, that's where the consultants come into play, or training office managers to see that space to say, okay, what are the steps it's going to take to get there? And how do we incrementally layer and add on to those steps to ensure that we do? So, Kristy, I think you're hitting some massive spaces there with the tracking the results, the just one thing, and making sure that we are training the team as we can. I also think don't wait too long. If you've gone to a course and you've learned something, you need to start practicing it because you learned it. And then if you're waiting a year to implement it, you're going to need to go back for a refresher course because you haven't been doing it. And I've seen that happen, Kristy. I don't know if you have. I've seen that happen, especially with like Botox, where they go get the training, but they're just like dragging their feet, probably out of fear, and actually implementing it. And then they're like, well, shoot, I need to go get a refresher course because I haven't done it since I did it at my training. Have you seen that too, Kristy?
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned that because I think one realm where we're really good at this, if you think about it, is milling same day crowns.
Yeah.
Because they force you to find patients, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, have your patients lined up because we're going to do it.
Yeah.
In those other realms, we don't necessarily do that. So a component that I think we miss a lot is we plan the CE, we schedule it, we go to the course, but we didn't block out time to meet with team
Mm-hmm.
coming back, right? So make sure that time, dedicate the time to make sure it happens. And hey, let's line up the patients. Let's get them in the chair and start because
Yeah.
you're right. Otherwise, we just get back into routine and it's gone to the wayside. And, CE is wonderful and it's all knowledge, but unless we're interpreting it into something, it's just money spent, right?
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. And it makes me think of too of like you said, they tell you to have patients ready for the crowns, but same thing for implants, right? Same thing for Botox, same thing for any of those, but implants especially, I always tell doctors before you go to the course, I say take inventory, look at how many outgoing referrals you had to oral surgeons.
Yeah.
How much revenue did you feed oral surgeons in your area of that thing that you're going for? Because I have had practices in areas of their city that it was like it didn't make sense financially to implement the thing because they weren't getting it in their doors, right? They were younger demographic, they were college demographic, and they really just weren't getting a lot of need for the implants or for whatever it was that they were looking at. And so they actually decided, you know what, like that was just, there's so much that we see that we're supposed to do like all on 4, all on X. Like there's so many GP dentists that are like, well, I just felt like I heard that that was what was going to change my life forever. And I'm like, yes, in a lot of ways. It's really hard. So don't do things just because it's what you're supposed to do and it's like the next best up and coming thing. Because I have seen doctors who have taken inventory and they're like, actually, like, I was going to do it because I thought I needed to, but I don't think my patient demographic shows me that I need to. I may actually focus in on this. And they've switched their CE focus completely because they saw the need wasn't there. And for me, that's massive because now you are getting an ROI on what you're doing. Now, for a lot of dentists, they want to learn the things, they want to know it, and that's totally cool. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but just make sure you know what you're getting into. And then, like Kristy just said, I love that idea of making sure you've got people lined up to get the service once you come back. And it's an easy conversation. It's not, I'm going to go get trained on implants. And so when I come back, I'd love for you to be one of the first people I place an implant on. That's uncomfortable, right? But it's just like, hey, I don't have the tools for this right this second. You can go to an oral surgeon if you want it sooner, but I am going to be equipped with those tools here in the next 6 months. I'd be happy to revisit this with you at your next recare or call you as soon as I get the stuff in.
Yeah.
Like, same 100%. Statement, different words. Okay. Yeah. So vulnerability on one hand, if it's family, like, shoot, I have had plenty of doctors that's like, hey, I'm testing this on you and you're getting it for free. Or I'm testing it on you and you're going to pay for the lab fee. Like, fine, whatever. But patients maybe be a little bit more tactful with. But Kristy, I think those were some great points. Those are all wonderful things that I've seen you help doctors implement. I've seen Dana, Trish. I've seen all of you guys. Monica, I know she's done it too. We've all implemented on some level some of these systems and protocols with practices for things that feel really hard when you're in it. The great part about consultants, I'm not attached to it, you guys. Kristy's not attached to it. We're attached to you seeing results, and we're going to bird's eye view it and see where the missteps are happening or the gaps are that can be filled to create a different result because Kristy's not emotionally attached to it. So they do really, really well. Kristy, Trish, Monica, Dana, all of them do really well at being able to see those gaps and see how you as a team can fill them and then train you guys on how to fill them. Our job is not to do it for you because then I'm not teaching you anything, right? She becomes your regional manager and that's not what we signed up for. But what her job is to do is to show you the path, train you how to do it, watch those benefits. You reap those benefits at the end. So we're excited to help you guys. Kristy, I know you're excited. You love implementing. Kristy loves nothing more than finding the money, finding the production, and helping you implement structures that really work to make a difference in your practice. Kristy, thank you for your words of wisdom today. Those were fantastic. I think my biggest nugget today is the idea of have people lined up and ready to go for whatever it is prior to you ever going and getting the course. And I think as I say that, Kristy, there's a lot of protocols and a lot of training that can be done prior to the CE to get your team ready too, because otherwise the team's just upside down trying to figure it out. But those protocols and things can be put into place before you actually get trained to place implants. So Kristy, thank you for being here with me today. Everyone, I hope you took some solid nuggets from this and you can see how beneficial this can be. Drop us a 5-star review below. We'd love to help you. hello@thedentallyteam.com. We can't wait to hear from you guys. Thanks.